Look at the screen. In 2013, during an IPL match, the speed gun flashed a number that shocked the cricket world. 173.9 kilometers per hour. Faster than Shoaib Akhtar, faster than Brett Lee, faster than anything officially recorded in cricket history. For a few seconds, fans believed they had just witnessed the fastest ball ever bowled. Hawkeye later confirmed it was a technical glitch, and that moment revealed something fascinating. For over 100 years, cricket has been obsessed with speed, but measuring fast bowling has never been simple. Different machines, different methods, different eras. Some bowlers were never measured at all. Others may have been clocked incorrectly, which raises the ultimate question. Who was actually the fastest bowler in cricket history? Because somewhere between myth, science, fear, and flawed technology lies the real story of pace. Look at the screen, look at the bowler, look at that speed. Feels unreal, doesn't it? This is Harold Larwood, England's Nottinghamshire Express, the face of Bodyline, the villain of the 1932-33 Ashes, and the one man who made Don Bradman look vulnerable. To Australians, he was feared. To England, he was a weapon. To cricket history, he became a myth. Historian David Frith once called Larwood possibly the fastest bowler of all time. In his legendary book, The Fast Men, Frith mentions a recorded speed of 96 miles per hour, roughly 154.5 kilometers per hour. But here's the strange part. No one truly knows how that speed was calculated. No radar guns, no Hawkeye, no broadcast tracking. Just fragments of old measurements and stories passed down through generations. And those stories became enormous. Some claimed Larwood regularly bowled above 150 kilometers per hour. Others believed he may even have crossed the mythical 100 mile per hour barrier decades before Shoaib Akhtar. But the deeper historians looked, the more complicated the truth became. Those old figures came from extremely small samples. Only a handful of deliveries were ever analyzed, and the technology of that era was primitive by modern standards. Today, when analysts re-examine the limited footage and surviving data, the estimates become slightly more grounded, usually placing Larwood somewhere in the high 140s, potentially above 147 kilometers per hour. And honestly, that's still terrifying. Because this was the 1930s, uncovered pitches, minimal protection, no helmets, no modern fitness science, just a fast bowler sprinting in while batters stood there with little more than courage. But Larwood wasn't the only ghost from cricket's forgotten speed era. There was another name, spoken almost like folklore in Australia. Eddie Gilbert, a fast bowler so frightening that even Don Bradman later admitted the quickest spell he ever faced came from Gilbert. In a 1931 Sheffield Shield match in Brisbane, Gilbert destroyed New South Wales in pure chaos. Bradman would later say those deliveries were the fastest he experienced in his entire career. But Gilbert's story carried controversy. His violent, whippy action led to constant accusations of throwing. Some umpires cleared him, others called him illegal. Film footage from the era never settled the debate. And cricket was left with another mystery. Was Eddie Gilbert genuinely the fastest bowler of his time, or too fast for the game to understand? Although the exact speed of Eddie Gilbert was never officially recorded, many who saw him bowl believed he was even faster than Harold Larwood. But whether Gilbert was quicker or not almost didn't matter, because Larwood became the standard, the benchmark, the name every fast bowler after him would be compared against, not just for raw speed, but for rhythm, aggression, and the terrifying precision of his action. Then came the Second World War, and after the war, fast bowling evolved again. Through the 1940s and 1950s, both Australia and England began producing genuine express pace. Australia unleashed great quicks like Ray Lindwall and Keith Miller. England answered with Fred Trueman, Brian Statham, and then came the fastest of them all, the man they called the Typhoon, Frank Tyson. Lean, explosive, and frighteningly quick.
Then the Typhoon hurled them down with devastating effect. Vice-Captain Arthur Morris fell to Tyson. So did Benno, and Harvey, and Miller. Tyson's reign of terror had smashed the Aussies. Back in Middleton, Lancashire, his mother reads the headlines that acclaimed her son. Mrs. Tyson was interviewed by our reporter at her home. At 19 Valley Road, Frank Tyson lives with his mother, and each evening he exercises with Indian clubs to strengthen the right arm that gives him the deadly bowling speed that took 7 Aussie wickets for 27.
During the 1954-55 Ashes Tour of Australia, Tyson produced spells that left batters rattled and crowds speechless. Australian players said the ball arrived like a flash. Even on flat Australian pitches, Tyson generated extreme pace through a long, charging run-up, violent momentum, and a whipping action that looked years ahead of its era. And for many who watched him, Tyson was faster than Larwood, faster than Gilbert, faster than anyone cricket had seen before. Greats like Don Bradman and Richie Benaud both believed Tyson was the quickest bowler they had ever witnessed. Even Gary Sobers, a man who faced generations of elite fast bowlers, later remarked that Tyson was clearly the fastest he ever saw, even ahead of names like Wes Hall and Dennis Lillee in pure pace. And remember, this was still an era before modern speed guns. No live graphics, no radar tracking, no exact numbers, only reactions, only memories, and the fear left behind by men who were simply too fast for their time. Frank Tyson was a ticking time bomb. His high-stress action brought terrifying speed, but it shattered his body. By the late 50s, the Typhoon was grounded. Then there was Roy Gilchrist, an express bowler who turned Test cricket into a weapon range. Gilchrist didn't just bowl fast, he broke the laws of physics. He would overstep the crease by 4 yards, hurling the ball from just 18 yards away. At 90 plus miles per hour from that distance, facing him without a helmet was like dodging a bullet at point blank range. But his true infamy was born in Amritsar. Locked in a feud with batsman Swaranjit Singh, Gilchrist ignored the docile pitch. He unleashed a barrage of intentional beamers, Yorkers aimed at the head. One missile struck Singh in the head, ripping off his turban and leaving him injured. Captain Jerry Alexander ran down the pitch. He ordered Gilchrist to stop the beamers and apologize. Gilchrist refused. According to reports, he allegedly turned on his own skipper with a knife. Alexander banished him on the spot. Gilchrist never played for the West Indies again. But it was during the 1970s and 80s that fast bowling reached its most terrifying peak. The West Indies unleashed an army of brutal quicks while Australia produced the lethal duo of Lillee and Thomo. Many were frighteningly fast on their day, but when players spoke about pure, unplayable pace, one name kept coming up: Jeff Thomson. Even Richie Benaud and Don Bradman, who had earlier rated Frank Tyson as the quickest ever, believed Thomson was the only bowler who came close to Typhoon Tyson's raw speed. Thomson's fastest officially recorded delivery was clocked at 160.6 km per hour. But that number comes with a huge asterisk. The speed measuring technology of the 1970s was completely different from modern radar guns. Back then, high-speed cameras tracked the ball only after it had already traveled several meters down the pitch, sometimes near the bounce point. And the moment a cricket ball leaves the hand, it immediately starts slowing down because of aerodynamic drag. Modern radar guns, however, capture the ball almost instantly at release, at its absolute maximum velocity before air resistance reduces the speed. So when a modern broadcast flashes 155 km per hour, that's release speed. By the time the ball actually reaches the batsman, it may have already dropped by few kilometers per hour. Which means Thomson's 160.6 km per hour reading was not true release speed. It was a speed recorded after the ball had already fought through the air. That figure remains speculative, not official. But it explains why so many batsmen from that era insisted that Thomo was the fastest human being they had ever faced. When cricket fans debate the fastest West Indian bowler ever, the usual names appear instantly: Michael Holding, Malcolm Marshall, Andy Roberts, Joel Garner. But insiders spoke about two terrifying outliers. The first was Sylvester Clarke. During the 1983 Rebel Tour of South Africa, Clarke reportedly bowled so fast that two police officers used a highway radar gun to clock him between 98 and 101 miles per hour, over 162 kilometers per hour. But the most chilling verdict came from the man behind the stumps. Legendary wicketkeeper Jeff Thomson kept to every great West Indian quick of the era. Yet, when asked who was the fastest of them all, he named Patrick Patterson without hesitation. Thomson admitted Patterson's pace was so extreme that he had to stand yards deeper than usual just to safely collect the ball. No elegant rhythm, no smooth poetry, just raw speed, pure chaos, the kind of pace that turns legends into witnesses.
Who was the fastest one of all of that crowd? And you kept to all those great West Indian fast bowlers, didn't you?
You know, every now and then, and I will say, because he made a very marked impression on me on a couple of occasions where I just said, well, I've never ever kept to anything this quick. And that was Patrick Patterson.
The 2000s became cricket speed war. Brett Lee crossed 161 mark. Shane Bond combined extreme pace with terrifying accuracy. Sean Tate bowled rockets that looked physically unnatural. This generation benefited from better gyms, sports science, advanced biomechanics, stronger athletes, but they also faced stricter scrutiny. Every ball was tracked, every speed recorded instantly, every claim analyzed frame by frame. Their pace existed in data, not legend. Then came the man who made speed an obsession, Shoaib Akhtar. The Rawalpindi Express, explosive run-up, violent action, pure chaos. Every spell felt dangerous. And in 2003, against England, history appeared on the screen. 161.3 kilometers per hour, 100.2 miles per hour, the fastest delivery officially recorded in cricket history. For millions of fans, this was the ultimate moment. The first human to officially break cricket's 100 miles per hour barrier. But controversy followed. Some analysts argued the tournament's speed guns were inconsistent, that the reading could not be fully trusted. Others pointed to his bowling action. Earlier in his career, Shoaib had been reported for throwing. His action got cleared by the ICC later on after following the controversies. His hyper-extension ruled a natural physical trait, not an illegal one. But the whispers never fully stopped. Some questioned whether an action that controversial could ever be truly clean. Others defended him completely. Even today, debates continue. Was Shoaib truly the fastest ever, or simply the fastest officially recorded? In cricket, those are not always the same thing.